So the garden has exploded since I took this video. I am just always amazed by the growth of the garden every time I go outside. I check the garden daily because I'm checking for bugs that will come and take over your garden and possibly kill your crops. Sometimes when I'm in a garden fiddling around, I find myself for the majority of the time tying up tomatoes. Does anyone else find themselves tying up tomatoes? Also maneuvering the cucumbers, making sure they're going up the trellis. There's always something to do in the garden. Whether I'm out there watering for an hour, there's much to be done in the garden. But tomatoes are such a task because I said in a previous video that I didn't realize that all the tomato plants that I got or grew were indeterminate, which means they're going to continue to grow and get taller and taller. And so I'm always out there having to stake them up, having to tie them up. And the other thing I found is that these tomatoes, and I'm not complaining, are huge. I've been getting some huge tomatoes. And so what they're doing is they're weighing down the actual plant. And so I have to do some extra tying up on those plants. But what I decided to go ahead and do the other day was to go ahead and heavily prune back. You see what I'm saying? This tomato plant got so heavy that it just tipped over. And then also, if you miss suckers, clipping them off, oh my gosh, it's a whole nother issue. Like you've grown a whole nother plant. I tried to keep up on clipping off the suckers, which I thought I was doing, but apparently I missed some. And once I start to see tomatoes on that vine, I'm like, oh, I'll just leave it. But clipping off those suckers is important. I clipped off a few and made new plants. I propagated them to make new plants and they have been successful. But I'm constantly still, like I said, tying them up. But I decided the other day that I was going to go ahead and I was going to heavily prune these plants. Meaning I'm going to clip off every leaf below a vine and above a vine. I should just say below. If the plant has produced a fruit, it was gone. I was clipping. It looks like a log. It was dramatic, I must say. It was a dramatic haircut, but this was the outcome. And like I said, if there was fruit growing, the bottom leaf was gone. What happens is when you leave that bottom leaf in the older leaf, it can start to cause disease in your plants, overcrowdedness. Also, I needed to make sure that the plants were getting enough airflow. And so I wanted to make sure that I clipped away at those bottom leaves and a lot of the upper leaves. Some of them fell off in the process, but that's okay. We just put them in the window. These tomatoes are huge. Thank God that one was blushing. But this was the outcome, and they are still growing. Still growing. And these tomatoes are huge. These are wonderful slicing tomatoes. But this was the outcome, and I'm happy that I did it. Remember to garden your way and have a fantastic day. Bye.